Hi, class. Welcome to week 7, I think it is now. To go from the video is your discussion post from last week and the case study 3. I'm going to start with case study 3. As I put in my announcement earlier this week, SMART goals are very challenging to write, and they have to be written in a very specific way that utilizes. So I provided almost everybody. There was only, I think, 2 students who did the SMART goal correctly. So I provided almost everybody a goal to work on. Like I said in the announcement, if you don't like what I picked, you can change the time or the times of day. Like, that is all a goal. But if you want to come up with a completely new one, now that you understand the pattern of it, and you just want to double check that with me before you go on to your case study 4, just email it to me. I would be glad to look at that and give you. Having said that, so your last case is going to be learning how to, or learning from this goal. So I wouldn't recommend that you do it any longer than 7 days, just because we're kind of on that crunch time. But do the goal, give it this is something that you're really doing. Take a picture of you doing some part of your goal. It could be a selfie, it could be, somebody wants a lot of water, and they have a specific cup that they want to use. You can take a picture of your cup. What I'm really looking for, again, is look at the rubrics along with this, and I'm looking for the new information. So don't just tell me your experience. Tell me your experience. Tell me what you learned. How difficult do you think this would be for? What special populations can you think of this? The last one I, 2 years ago, I had a new baby in the house, and I said, I think this would be hard for a lot of new people, and having spent most of my career counseling new parents, I'd never known it for me to have that experience. Just to kind of give you an idea of what you can include in that case study. And then, of course, find some type of reference. In my example, I learned that it may be hard for a new parent, especially a new mom, a stay-at-home mom, to do a specific nutrition thing. Well, I could have found a study that tells about how 30% of our brains actually get reached during pregnancy, postpartum period, up to 3 years after a child is born, to handle the intent of a newborn and to re-establish connections, more strong connections. A lot of that 10 to 30% that we lose is actually very weak connections that our brain has to prioritize to the new baby. So I could include that piece of research in what I learned as being experience. So that does the case 3. Everybody did really well on Chris. There was the ones that I had to grade. A lot of them were give 2 reasons or kind of explain something real brief with that. There was a couple things that I saw over and over again that I just wanted to touch on. One is that the body doesn't go just from carb. A lot of times there is a brief stint, and as you learned in our protein lecture and reading, proteins are not stored in the body, but we do have muscle mass that is mostly protein that can be used as alternate energy when we need to. And there's also some glycogen and that's the same type of substance that is in our muscles that get into glucose for usage. There's some in our liver for immediate to run away from a predator. That's what our body would use. Away from a bee, by the way. Or severe starvation, we're going to switch over to that fat, being able to metabolize our fat for energy. As you saw, it's a very inefficient process. There's byproducts in it, so basically your blood is not in the right structure and acidity used to be, and it can create some problems. Now, I did want to mention, though, I actually use the ketogenic diet as it has been used for over 100 years now. Some pediatric patients and also some cancer. So pediatric patients, a lot of these times they're high seizure patients, shortchanging their brain of the amount of energy that they have. And a lot of studies at this point, 100 years worth of studies, a lot of case studies of being able to decrease the amount of seizures or the severity of seizures. So it certainly is useful. It's not to say any one diet is important to some population, but your average healthy ketogenic diet, there's certainly healthier and easier ways to shift your body over to metabolizing more fat rather than, taking you. The other part of that I wanted to say is that the reason why we switch over very quickly from taking out our lean body mass and going into fat storage is body mass we need that to live. Like, think of your lungs, and your heart. They're all have muscle that actually does the work for them. You have to maintain that muscle structure to be able to live. So our body prioritizes, even though metabolistically we like to go and really thinks that you're starving and that this is going to be a prolonged state of being, it's going to switch over to being able to run on ketones sooner rather than later. So just wanted to let you guys know that it's not like it skips over using glycogen, because glycogen is the next best because it can be turned into glucose fairly easy, but it also spares your lean body mass tissue, which is important so you don't die of a heart attack or stop breathing. Whole grains. A lot of people got this question wrong. And I think a lot of you in the second one that you took got it right. But just remember, when you're looking at a nutrition facts label and you're looking at the ingredients on whole grain, no matter what, wheat, whatever, it's going to be better than a combination of non-whole grain ingredients. Or have a whole grain ingredient for your first ingredient, but your second one is actually not a whole grain. That is not 100% whole grain. 100% is always going to be the better option when it comes to a carbohydrate source. Taste deficiency was another one. This is one that I really wish that we could go in person, because I feel like you guys would have understood it a lot better than what the book provides, because I got in a little bit more detail since I deal so much with these and a lot about lactose, a lot with babies because of milk. And I want you guys to know is that the people that wrote this book really took a very, I know I want to word this, Caucasian approach to it. And not really fair to a lot of the patients that you're going to see, because it is very well known in the research at this point that other than Anglo-Saxon Europeans, actually, so not even Southern Europeans, that most of adults do not digest dairy products or as well at all. And in fact, a lot of countries have a dairy group listed in their national recommendations. That is one of the things with this book that I don't love. I feel like short-sighted, and it's heavily industry funded, because the dairy industry happens to have very strong nutrition research and nutrition professional organizations, even the ones that I am involved with. So something for you guys to know is that there's a really short paragraph that's actually a pretty complicated topic and a hot topic among dietitians and other types of nutrition professionals. So for what I want you guys to know is that, yes, doing some of those, eating dairy with meals, taking lactase pills, making sure that your diet does have some type of probiotics in it, which is a whole separate lecture we probably won't get into in this class. Those can be helpful, but if you simply just are not going to produce that enzyme past a certain age, which 7 usually is the last age in the research that we see a high number for most patients, and then it kind of trails off. So by the time you're 60 years old and you're telling a 60-year-old man that's not from Anglo-Saxon heritage that he needs to eat more dairy 3 times a day with meals and expect it not to upset his intestines, it's just pretty unrealistic. It probably is still going to. So just so you guys know, that those are probably pretty good suggestions for Caucasians. So yeah, very interesting. If you have questions about that, let me know. Especially, is the dairy group really necessary? Because we could get on that for quite a while. Due to a request from one of your classmates, I did open quiz 4 early. I opened that this afternoon, so it should be available to you. Please feel free if you would like to do the reading and get that out of the way, you can. The final is going to be on the very last day of class, which is August 10th is when it's due. I'm going to open it up on August 5th, so I'll try to send out a little reminder when that goes live to do it whatever day suits you during that week, but make sure you have it done, because I think I have to have grades turned in by that Monday. So I can't really give you any more leeway, even if you have a really good reason. Okay, so try to get it done. The discussion this week, look at the description and what I asked you guys to do, but then also think about populations based on your reading. So this week is all about vitamins and minerals, which we'll talk about some key points here in just a second. But I want you to think about populations that might have these micronutrient deficiencies. So not just maybe your best friend who doesn't eat real well. Think about why he doesn't eat well. Like maybe maybe it's Asperger's, and sometimes if you are on the ASD spectrum and you have autism or Asperger's, you have a very restricted diet. And these people tend to eat, and you can look into the research, they tend to eat the same foods over and over and over for even years. So that's just an example, what kind of nutrient deficiencies, micronutrient deficiencies would these people typically have? Another one could be veganism. So kind of think of the populations, not just an individual when you're answering this question this week. The discussions last week were awesome. I was absolutely floored with almost everybody. Almost everybody got a 10 out of 10. I learned a lot. You guys did a great job referencing and citing. I was really impressed. I did want to make the note, I didn't see too much old research in there, but try anytime you're writing academically to keep it within 5 years, unless that topic has been researched to the bone and they're not doing any new research on it, because we've come to consensus not going to spend any more money on it. So, but that's very few and far in between topics. But try to get it within 5 years, because that helps support that it's current science that is free from certain types of biases, and then it all comes to statistics or even the materials used. I already said that. So the readings. Let's talk a little bit about the reading this week. The vitamin and mineral / water chapter, they're really intense and they're really long. You might get bored. So give yourself days to do it. Do a section one day and then move on. The slides are really great. I have a separate slideshow if you guys would like something, if you don't really feel like you're getting a whole lot from what the book has. I did a slideshow for the fall class last year that's a little bit more to the point and more of like, the takeaway points to each of them. So I can post those if you'd like. Just email me if that's something you're interested in. Things that I want you guys to pay attention to is the difference between water and fat soluble vitamins. I want you guys to the major minerals versus trace minerals. Like what are the ones that we really need to know about? And the ones we really need to know about is inclusion. And you'll start to understand a little bit more about the need for food group or not when you start to understand a little bit more about bone mineralization. When it comes to water, I get pretty hot topic with me when it comes to water scarcity and such things. So if you're interested in that as a topic, I know you guys are super busy though, and you guys, it's hard enough just to fit in what we have to do right here. So I appreciate that. And if you need more information on a topic, I can provide. 2 things is what I'd really like you guys to focus. The quiz questions are going to be very specific when it comes to your vitamins. So you're going to want to have your book out when you're reading those too. Okay. And that, I don't think I have any more notes on here. I hope you guys have a great week getting through the material. Just to let you know that the quiz is not due this Sunday. I do believe it's next. But check your syllabus and make sure that is correct. But since I opened it up early, you guys should not have a quiz due this weekend. But you do have to do your discussion post, and you might want to get your case study done, and then definitely be working on your nutrition and these presentations. Still have 3 people that need to get back to me about their topic. Pick really you like or you want to learn more about, and if you really just know, let me know, and I'll try to come up with a list for the last 3. Okay, alrighty. Well, much Perry County Fair here, so I'm gonna go put on my cowboy boots and go see some cows. See you guys.